Indeed, we are live, which means, of course, as always, it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You can find us, of course, live video and on demand video whenever you want to watch it. You can do that on Facebook at the Temptations Beach Facebook page, YouTube at the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Temptations on Twitter. If you just want the audio version of the show, of course, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, search the High Noon Hemp Show, and you'll find us that way. I am Stoner Jesus. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. How are things this week, Beach, in the world of Temptations?
The world of Hemptations is flying by. I don't know if it's flying by. It's actually just kind of slowly going by. It's slow in the world. July, beginning of August, always kind of slow, but it's all good. It's true. This is the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Beach, and I am high above the Sharonville location in what I call the Planet Everywhere Studios for this once a week opportunity for you, the viewers, to be educated in all things hemp. That's what we do here. If you didn't know, you might be watching live, you might be watching later. It's hard to say. I watch the YouTube feed, so if you go to the YouTube feed and you're watching, you can chat with me there. You can chat with us at the Hemptations Beach. Just post it and pop it. It'll come right up. It'll say, hey,
Indeed.
This is what I do. Better read my recent disclaimer added to the show. The FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Just so you know, that's the truth. The world has been missing, and I didn't know this one existed, a really good hemp education song, and we've got one for you, but you got to watch the whole show to get to it. Don't fast forward to the end. Just watch the show.
Don't cheat.
Don't cheat. And I want to thank a Facebook watcher, listener who sent me this link. And again, the song is almost 10 years old or so, I think. But it's really good and it's really smart, and they did it the right way. And I actually like the song, and so. Stay tuned. End of the show. We're going to close the show with a little educational music video. Let's get started with the product spotlight, though. 4 from the store, 1 from my door, here on the High Noon Hemp Show. The first one is good old Green Gruff dog snacks, is what they are, and they're really good. Josie is doing the Soothe right now. She really likes those. I think sometimes she asks to go out because when she comes back in, I give her a couple treats, and so she just wants the treats. But that's how much she likes them. I can't tell if it's really making her skin look smooth or soothe or what. But I know she likes them one way or another. So. If you have an animal, and these are nice, they're just little small cubes. Nice dog treats for small or big dogs, honestly. Give a small dog one, give a big dog a couple. How about some deodorant? Good old Washada CBD deodorant. How good the CBD really is under the arm for anything, I don't know. But it is an all-natural deodorant, and it can't be bad, I suppose, for you. But you don't. Really using CBD as a topical is more for, I think, most people and our customers use it more for pain relief. So I don't know the benefit of using CBD under the arm in the deodorant, but it would absorb into the skin and do stuff topically there, I guess, if you needed it one way or another. But it's much better than over-the-counter deodorants all day long, one way or another. Don't be fooled. The next one, some of my favorite socks. This is we've got this selection here in Sharonville. These are the Hemp Traders Argyle socks. So And again, I truly believe these are unisex. I know Mary wears these. She's got some pairs of these, and I wear them. They're really thin, so they're more of a fall. We're getting into the fall, even though we've got a way to go. I shouldn't even think for a minute that it's going to be fall temperatures anytime soon here. It's true, and of course, fall isn't officially until like October anyway. Um, but yeah, we love hemp traders, no doubt about that. If you're ever looking for any fabric, hemp traders is one of the best places to look, no doubt about it. And then if you can't find it there, then you go to Enviro Textiles and they can help you. There's a couple other good places in the states too to get some hemp fiber as well. And the last is our is these. I found a whole stack of Dash hemp shorts, jean shorts. I feel like with Stranger Things bringing the '80s back, who doesn't want a pair of jean shorts? Um, and these are nice and thick and will probably last you a lifetime, in all honesty. And so, if you're looking for a nice pair of jean shorts, get up to Sharonville. That's the best selection of waist sizes that we have. That's for sure. There you have it, 4 from the store. Now, the one from my door is once again a multiple. You get multiple here because this is basically my bed setup, which is 2 sheets, a hemp comforter, pillowcases. All the pillowcases are made out of hemp as well. 2 or 3 of them, I think, are the hemp silk blend. I think one is just kind of more of a regular uh, fabric linen kind of blend when it comes to the pillowcases. Um, and so, there you have 1, 2, 3, 4 separate hemp items on the one from my door, which is, and of course, the shelves in the background there are made out of hemp. And so, there's hemp abound because it's all I have around me. So for the most part. There you have it, folks, on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. 4 from the store, 1 from my door, as I like to say.
Indeed.
Now,
again, the greatest internet segment in history. I feel like if I say it enough, it would just manifest itself into the universe, or however that works, and bam, one day everyone will know it. You ask someone on the street, what's the best internet segment in history, and they will say, well, of course, it's from the High Noon Hemp Show. It's the segment where hemp and fashion collide, and where Stoner Jesus asks Beach a very important question. That question being, what are you wearing, Beach?
that's right, folks. If you're curious and you're really wondering, because I wear hemp pretty much head to toe every day, unless I'm working on the farm and then I ruin my cotton stuff, my old cotton stuff. Um, but this week is another. It seems like I've been wearing a lot of black on the show recently, but still trying to mix it up as much as possible. On top there, on the lid, is an officially licensed Adidas hemp hat. That is a Ono hemp Green Springs Technology t-shirt. Ono, again, available from Enviro Textiles t-shirts. My shorts, classic pair of I&I cargo shorts. I don't know if those are still available anywhere in the world. Being held up by, if you look closely up there, a Hempy's belt. And of course, in the pocket is my Green Springs Technology pen, carried with me almost every day. Between that and my coffee mug, I tell you what, almost thousands of days of carrying those items. Underneath it all, you'll see my I Love Bad briefs purchased on Amazon. My no-show socks come from Hemp Traders as well. And then on the feet, getting me where I got to go is my Adidas Sambas. Putting it all together there. And what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. For today, it's a good day. It's a hemp traders day. It's a
Mhm.
Anyway. It's a good day. It's a good day for hemp. Not such a good day for Brittany Griner. Um,
Mm.
she was sentenced to 9 years. And I know that, here's the interesting part still, is the fact that, that she pleaded guilty to having hash oil. And I think that's because they didn't know how, because the rumor is, and again, I can't tell for sure, but when this first broke, they said it was CBD oil. I just saw another article that described it as CBD oil. It was a vape cartridge. That was part of the problem as well. But she pleaded guilty to hash oil, even though I don't believe that it could have been a high THC thing. I think that she thought if she pleaded guilty that they'd get it all worked out like they would have here in a reasonable country. I say that as harsh as some of our cannabis laws have been in the past. Nobody would ever get sentenced to 9 years today. They may have 10, 20 years ago, maybe, for having hash oil, if it was really hash oil, one way or another. But again, I truly believe this was a political ploy by the Russians because, again, we're talking trades. So, if they sentence her to 9 years, then that makes their viability of getting a better trade out of the United States for someone. Um,
Mhm.
I think some of the worst of it is the empathy, the lack of empathy that I've seen from the public is insane. It's like, and it's like and again, I get it because she has proven to be unpatriotic to some in the past because she was a part of that movement that didn't want that took a knee during um, the anthem and whatnot. And so, I think that's where a lot of people are like, well, she got what she deserved, which is 100% not true. Unpatriotic or not, no one deserves to go to jail for 9 years for having cannabis oil. No one.
Absolutely.
I don't care where you are or what your political beliefs are or your equality beliefs are or whatever. Doesn't matter. And so, I'm hoping that we'll have, all of us that are hoping, I suppose, that they get a trade worked out and she gets home sooner than earlier. But anyway, so that's the Brittany Griner unfortunate uh, update. And so, I still think they're trying to work out. I do believe they are trying to work out a trade deal to get
Mm.
her and another gentleman for someone else. So we'll see what happens. In good news, Delta 8 is ruled legal by a judge in Kentucky. Once again, this is the common thing. Someone in the state says Delta 8 is illegal um, because they don't know anything about it. And then when it finally hits the courts, they realize, well, guess what? It's extracted from industrial hemp. It is 100% legal. Kentucky follows the uh, uh, Federal Department of Agriculture's guidelines for industrial hemp. So therefore, everything that they're doing is completely in line um, with Delta 8 production and legality. And so it doesn't surprise me that the courts ruled because, again, the law enforcement jumped the gun. Even the Department of Agriculture in Kentucky, I believe, jumped the gun by making announcements as to how it was illegal before they even knew. Again, showing somewhat of the ignorance as to um, all of the byproducts that are 100% legal federally, all of the byproducts, anything that can be made from industrial hemp is 100% legal. And so, and again, we're coming up with new byproducts every other day. It seems like, and so, good job, Judge. Thankfully, Kentucky's industry, which is huge, again, they have one of the largest industrial hemp industries in the world. Again, a lot of that is CBD flower based, which is where you get Delta 8, Delta 9, HHC, all that stuff comes from extracts and doing things to extracts from 100% legal industrial hemp. And so it's a good thing. There's a couple other states I think that are trying to do something with Delta 8, and we'll see what happens. Texas was the first that tried to do something and then got checked. Kentucky is coming now, and there are more to come that will try to make these things illegal and then realize that they can't unless they actually write a law. And so now it would be up to the people of the state, the political parties of the state, to actually write a law and pass a law to make it illegal. Because right now it's all 100% legal. Good job, Kentucky. Good job. West Coast peeps, if you're out in Oregon, California, I think there was a couple other states. Maybe you've heard of New Seasons Market or New Leaf Community Markets. Well, they are picking up plant-based foods, hemp burgers. Now they're claiming that these are the first or the only fake meat product, that the majority of the product is actually hemp. Now, we've got Good Burger. I think it was Good Burger out in Colorado. It's been around for a while, and I think that their majority of theirs is hemp too. But this is big for that market. Hopefully, I would love to see them get into some national markets now. Now that they're in that market, I would think that hopefully sales go well enough that they would get in to some national markets, so we could go to the market here and buy those, because I would love that. There are I don't know if I've had too many. Now, I did think the Good Burgers were actually very, very good at replicating more of a meat, and they're kind of a smaller company, obviously. The goal is to make it and feel like and taste like and be like real meat. Not for the vegetarians or the vegans, but for the meat eaters, so that we can sell it to the meat eaters and they'll eat it and not bitch about it not tasting like meat. Because again, you see a lot of veggie burgers out there and whatnot, and it's tough. But there are some that are really trying to replicate that feel, that taste and feel and everything about it, because that's the only way to get non-vegetarians, non-vegans, meat eaters, carnivores to eat it. And that's, to me, that's the goal. The vegans and the vegetarians, they'll eat it no matter what. And again, using hemp is a great way to supplement, because you get that protein that they need that you're not getting from eating meat. It's the biggest health risk, in my opinion, to the vegetarian, is finding enough protein to keep the human body healthy. That's the only part of being a vegetarian. And trust me, there's plenty of it out there, and that's that market knows that as well. And that's also why I think hemp burgers or hemp in any food is increasing in popularity with vegetarian and vegans, because it is a great source for non-meat protein. And so I would love to be able to go to the grocery store here and get some hemp burgers, that's for sure. So you're lucky, West Coast peeps. Of course, it's 9 a.m. if you're watching out there. So got plenty of time to get to the grocery. I don't know if they're in the grocery store yet. I think they just signed the deal, so they might be getting shipped to the stores as we speak. Who knows? I don't. Here's a cool hempcrete house project. So the house in the front, and this is in Fargo, the house in the front is made from hempcrete. Okay. The house in the back is going to be built with traditional, I think, just wood beam structure, so to speak, architecture, and they're doing basically, as you can see, a literal side by side comparison of basically the exact same structure being made out of hempcrete and the exact same structure being made out of other material. And so I think the I think the most interesting thing is, okay, we're in Fargo, we're going to get a lot of snow. The way the ceilings are pitched, it's like the hempcrete house is dumping all its snow on the house behind it. I mean, again, it's like when they really going to get snow, there won't be any access to the inside. But the houses were built with sensors inside them, which they're going to regulate moisture levels and all kinds of stuff, internally. And so, this is going to really give us some good data. I think in the long run, as to a lot of principles of hempcrete that we want to know about specifically. Um, so that's we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on this hempcrete uh, project, this side by side comparison of hempcrete. And again, I kind of I think that the fact that it's in the harsh environment is good as well. I'd really like to see something like this built, say, in a hurricane region.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they could, not that they would waste the coast to do it, but it would be a great project. I mean, I would like to see like 5 different structures built out of 5 different things, hempcrete being one, to see how they compare in truly harsh environments. Fargo is a pretty harsh environment in the winter, so I think that's going to be a good comparison, obviously, to how it compares to the harshness of a winter. But I would like to see the harshness of a hurricane or tropical storms. And there's probably some other environments that we could build in to see exactly how well it stands up compared to the technology, the architecture that we're using now, the construction that we're using now, which is what we need. I've been saying that since I've been talking about hempcrete, and again, hempcrete is one of the most popular subjects in the world of hemp right now. Housing is something that never goes away. There's never a shortage. We will never stop building dwellings. Just not going to happen. We need to be looking towards sustainable building materials now. Less trees as far as wood, less sand as far as concrete. There's a lot of other things that we need to cut down on, to give the earth a little breather of fresh air, and be able to supply housing for the billions of people that are on the planet. We're not making any less humans, so that's why housing is something that will always be important. Now is the time to start moving towards sustainable housing again. One way or another. And there's, again, if they're comparable, why wouldn't you? If you can say, oh well, I mean, sure, nobody's going to live in a straw house compared to a wood house because that's not comparable. But if you can save the planet and use something sustainable and you get the same results, just do it. It's kind of a no-brainer, even though most people don't do it. I guess it's just too much of their brain to use. I don't know. um, how about this tiny little house home? And I think that when this was getting built, I think I showed a picture of this one, possibly when it was getting built. Again, originally hemp insulation and hemp canvas used to wrap the outside of it. Now he has the builder of this one has actually the shelves. So if you look down in the right hand corner of the picture, you'll see those shelves down there. He's staining those shelves with hemp shield. Again, There was hemp-based paint years and years and years ago before actually the petrochemicals got involved in it, because that's where I think, or the even the synthetic paint, so to speak, comes from. But originally, hemp oil was used as a stain or a base for paints. Um, and again, I cannot imagine the environmental damage that paint has done. Only in the last maybe 20 years have we, added what we call low VOC. When you paint, you get that smell. Those are chemicals. So you're breathing in the chemicals from the paint. Now you can do the low VOC paints, which have removed a lot of those chemicals. Um, I think it takes a little more. But again, as far as a place you're going to live and you're going to breathe, you want that. I often wonder. Our rates of cancer, all these things that happen, and we can't figure out how. Environment is one of them. Okay, I truly believe that the environment has a lot to do with. Um, I started using low VOC paints a long time ago. I used to get them down at Park and Vine, which was a great store here in Cincinnati, for the longest time. Sold quite a bit of hemp goods at Park and Vine. Either way, but that's where I would go get my paint for a while until the low VOC stuff started really hitting the shelves, and so you can go anywhere now and get low VOC. Um, you know, chemical free or something paint would be great. And so you might have to put, again, like I said, an extra coat on, but the time to take an extra coat compared to the time it might have take off your life if you're using some crappy old chemically laced paint that you're going to be smelling and taking in as you walk around your house or sleep. Once again, the trade-off there is seems to be quite intelligent to make. I love that he's using hemp stain on his wood. I use hemp stain on anything that I stain or have stained, which hasn't been a lot, but I know when I built my pond at the house, it was above, and I built it out of wood, and we stained it with hemp stain. Um, and so, Hemp Shield. It's available online or in some of the Hemptations locations, depending on the shade that you're looking for. It's true. Um, the title of this sounds really kind of interesting, but it's Carcass Traits of Growing Meat Goats Fed Different Levels of Hemp Seed. Um, Now, what this study actually found, and this was a study, and this is, once again, the step in the right direction, is adding up to 30% hemp seed meal to the goats' diet, and these are goats being raised for meat, had no adverse effect on the meat. Okay, so what they're looking for there is you know negative results, and because there are no negative results, then we should be able to take this information once again to the Department of Agriculture and say, hey, this proves that we can feed goats up to 30% hemp seed meal, no adverse effects. We should be doing this. Again, um, that protein content that they can get, they weren't looking for positive results, so they didn't test like if it added any protein to the diet, and or anything like that. They were really just looking to see if it caused any adverse or negative effects on the meat that would make it unhealthy to go to market. They didn't find any. Once again, proving that livestock hemp seed should be a part of livestock feed. We're trying to get chickens on it. We're trying to get cows on it. If we can just get it approved, even federally, through the Department of Agriculture as a approved livestock feed, um, I think that you will see a lot of I think you would see a lot of livestock farmers that would be happy to do that. Um, Again, I think it would make a healthier cow just like it would make a healthier human, which means less antibiotics, less steroids, less all that, that protein content. They don't have to give it the steroids to beef it up. That protein content, what I would only hope would help beef up the beef naturally. Beef up the beef. Use hemp, beef up the beef. Chicken up the chickens, goat those goats. Um, and so, we really need and I know again they're working on studies in Colorado for cattle because there's a lot of cattle in Colorado and there's a lot of hemp grain in Colorado. And so I don't know, I'm not positive where this study actually took place, but it's definitely something that needs to be done. As much as the FDA needs to approve CBD, the Department of Agriculture needs to approve hemp grain as an acceptable livestock food. Because right now you cannot feed your livestock, any livestock, hemp seed and then take that to market. You got your own livestock that you're going to eat and use for yourself. You can by all means feed them whatever you want. To be honest with you, there's no really nothing to say you can't feed them anything. But you can't take them to market if you fed them hemp foods um, legally. I should say it's not approved. I don't know what the ramifications are of feeding livestock something that isn't on the approved livestock feed list.
Mm.
But I would guess that might be kind of severe because again, I sure don't want. I mean, I get these rules because I don't want to go buy something, even though we buy organic meat um, or all natural, but usually organic if we can. Um, so we don't have to worry about because again, there is all kinds of things that are approved by the Department of Agriculture for livestock feed that you don't want your meat eating, you don't want your chickens eating, you don't want your goats eating. I can almost guarantee you of that. Um, and so again, organic's the way to go. But I would really like to um, I would really like to have some, right on the label there, fed hemp. I just think it would be better. The chicken farmer who fed his chickens hemp leaves, cannabis leaves, um, noticed noticed an improvement in weight on the chickens, and his customers. This was over in Thailand or something. His customers basically came to buy his cannabis leaf fed chickens first. They became in demand, and again they were. He said they, and so we should be able to do that too. In all honesty, because that is the one product right now that really has no market, and that's the leaf, whether it's industrial hemp or what. But and when you grow for grain and fiber, there's not really a whole lot of leaf. When you grow for grain, it's just like this big seed buds, more or less. And there are obviously leaves that are on the top of the trees to catch the sunlight, but they're not bushy like when you grow for flower for CBD industry or the THC industry in those legal places. Um, but when you grow industrial hemp for flower, there's a lot of leaves. Once again, there's no real market for that. If you're growing industrial hemp for flower, you have this huge um, uh, leaves left over at the end. Even the stalks, same thing. Again, there's no reason why you can't use those stalks for fiber and or herd the chip off the stalk, so to speak, itself. Um, those leaves need somewhere to go. I suppose if I was a farmer, I would save them for and even fertilize with them. Maybe I don't know, um, but feeding them to chickens seems to benefit chickens. Feeding them to humans may not be a bad idea, and we are starting to see a little bit here and there hemp leaf salad, so to speak. I'm sure that there's probably some places, maybe in Colorado or some of those other states, where that market is so much more wide open, even if it is just hemp. Um, and again, I feel like hemp leaf salads should be popping up in grocery stores in Kentucky. They've got all that byproduct. There's zero reason, honestly, why they couldn't sell the hemp leaves, um, freshly picked, so to speak. And again, I don't know I haven't never actually ever tasted one. I assume it probably tastes like most greens. Now, the darker the green, the more nutritional value that it has to the human. Um, and so, if that's true, then I would think that hemp leaves would have some nutritional value, like spinach, maybe, or arugula. It's a vegetable. Um, and so, I definitely think that there should be a market for that. I mean, if all the options were there on the shelf for me, I would definitely take home hemp leaf to make my salads from it. Um, and so, a whole nother market that we need to work on. And again, we could legitimately have hemp leaf as uh, a official livestock food as well. Then, um, I don't know. The cows probably maybe graze on it. I don't know. Goats will definitely eat it. I guarantee it, because goats will eat anything. Chickens will obviously eat it. And so, I think more livestock fed hemp seed and hemp leaf would be beneficial to uh, making meat cleaner, making that just a cleaner, better product without having to add a bunch of other stuff. So, that's the goal. That's the goal. No doubt about it. Um, in a study, oh, wait, no, I don't, a real article that I came across. Actually, it's a video. And for the record, and most of the news that I
Getting some glitching a bit.
these articles and news stories and whatnot. Where'd I go? There I am.
There we
Okay,
go.
that was weird. Most of these videos that yeah, um, come, I use an app called Flipboard. So if you like news, and this is a great news app in my opinion, because you can pick the categories, you can pick the news. They're not biased in any way. They just, headlines are headlines, no matter what. Um, but I have started a Hemptations Flipboard page, and this is, where you can go. There is a news story, and this was a live news out in Nebraska. Okay, and the researcher wants to use hemp to remove chemicals. I guess there was a big ethanol spill out there from Alt N was the name of the company. Alt N had a big spill. Okay, it's a disaster, whatever, ecological disaster. And he wants to use hemp, but guess what? He's running into the same problems that he would if he wanted to use hemp in Ohio. They can't pay the fees and the licensing and all the process, all the stuff just to grow the hemp to remove the chemicals. And of course, he wants to study. They want to do the study that I want to be done, and that is remove the chemicals, study the plant to see where those chemicals are stored, what happens to those chemicals, and then destroy. I think they, they would incinerate. They were talking about they would incinerate what was left. But again, we know industrial hemp is a phytoremediator. So it pulls all bad things out of the ground as it's pulling its nutrients out, because that's what it does to grow. Um, we know that that's the case. We don't have specifics though, just like this, like how much of what it pulls out is stored in the leaves, stored in the stalk, ends up in the flower, ends up in the seed. These are the things we need to know to decide whether we really do need to destroy that at the end of the day, or that could go on and be a viable product. If there's no chemicals in the fiber, which is probably where it would actually be honest with you, so you wouldn't be able to use the fiber. But if there were any, you could use the fiber for clothing or whatever. If it's not in the stalk, which is most likely the outer part of the stalk, which is more likely that it wouldn't be there, you could still build a house with that. If it doesn't go to the leaves, which it probably would, because that's how plants work, um, then you wouldn't be able to use those leaves. I don't know if it would go into the seed, but I would guess even if you went to seed and your intention was to just use those plants in the future for more phytoremediation, it wouldn't matter. I don't, I can't see that those seeds would have chemicals in them to a level that it would make it not worth using the hemp to remove the whatever you're trying to remove one way or another. But again, here we have someone that wants to do the research, and because of the ignorance, because it's still treated criminally, in my opinion, with all of its regulations and extra regulations and fees and all that. None of that is a part of the federal bill. There's nothing in the federal bill that says you have to charge $1,000 for a hemp growing license. There's nothing in the federal bill that says you have to charge $100 or make a to test your industrial hemp at the end of the season. There's nothing in the federal bill about that. These are all the states have all added these rules, and they're obviously so bad in Nebraska. I think I saw four different licensees or fees or something. That this researcher at this university who just really wants to do this because he thinks that once again they can remove these chemicals safely and use a sustainable product to do it. And that's what we need every day, all over the world. And so, if you're in Nebraska and he said he'd be willing to help anybody with a project like this, all you got to do is call him. He just doesn't have the money. They don't have the money they can't afford to do this at the university, and no one's going to do that out of pocket, even though the results would be, unbelievably great. And so, once again, it's just ridiculous. That's the ridiculous aspect of the licensing and testing of industrial hemp. Once again, because most states, most people, they don't want to treat it like corn or soybean, and that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. If you think someone's growing industrial hemp and there's too much THC in it, then the Department of Agriculture should go out and investigate that, maybe. Not have every single farmer that grows industrial hemp in their state have to get the test at their cost. It's just, I mean, it's so ridiculous, and that's I think I'm obviously super bitter about it because that's the way it is in Ohio, and obviously that's the way it is in Nebraska, and I think that's the way it is in a lot of states, which prohibits anyone from growing it for any other reason than really CBD. Even though the grain market is huge, the fiber market is growing. But again, if I'm going to grow a plant for fiber to make clothing out of, I'm not going to pay $1,000 license fee just to do that. I'm just going to grow cotton.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay $1,000 fee to grow cotton in any state. But if you want to grow industrial hemp for fiber, you got to pay a fee. Soybean. You got to pay an extra fee in any state to grow soybean? No. But if you decided to grow hemp grain, which is comparable, if not better, than soybean by comparison nutritional value for the human body, you pay $1,000 licensing fee. Then you got to have your plants tested at the end of the year. Make sure again, it's just you're gonna test a field of flowers on a fiber plant that those flowers are never gonna go into the pair of jeans. So again, as I said 100 times, you could have 100% THC in the flower of a fiber plant. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be in the fiber that you're going to make the fiber out of. But no one's doing that in these states. They're going to do it in states where there's no extra fees or the fees are very nominal. $35 application fee. $50 application fee, just so they can keep track of you and they know where they are. And if they want to send somebody out to investigate your THC levels, they can. But until there's a complaint or a reason to believe, then it doesn't behoove a CBD farmer to grow what they call hot, have even 0.4% THC. It doesn't behoove. They're not trying to do that. Okay. Now, we've seen people that had said they were growing CBD and then all of a sudden they were growing for marijuana. And guess what? The law enforcement came and they found it. I'm not saying they find every one, but I have seen news reports of these, growing what was supposed to be CBD, but it wasn't. And guess what? They got in trouble for that. And so, it's too preemptive. The government's trying to be too preemptive in most states, in a lot of states, when it comes to growing hemp. Well, they need to be proactive. Whereas, if it ends up at the end doing something, then it's fine. But I'm just let them, why should they pay? Why should they pay any more than the corn grower, than the cotton grower, than the soybean grower? And I really should say cotton and soybean compared to that. If a cotton farmer doesn't have to do it, a hemp farmer shouldn't have to do it. If a soybean farmer doesn't have to do it, a hemp farmer shouldn't have to do it. But they still do in a lot of places, including the Ohio. And it's why it's a big issue, and it's just recently brought to me as an issue that needs to be addressed. And I'm happy to talk to our Department of Agriculture and try to convince them at any given moment that these things need to be changed. That's for sure. And I think and I really feel like anyone that was put to them logically would see why it is illogical to treat it like, no doubt about it. So, wow. So that's just true bummer, man. Somebody who wants to use hemp for a great purpose can't do it because of the regulations that are still happening here in the United States and states. And those are all states' rules. It's not federal rules. They're following state rules there. In a study involving 1,600 participants, they're saying this is one of the biggest ones yet. 45% of those studied found menial improvements in their what happened there? Read it. Why can't I read it? Oh, and their pain. It was a pain study. Yeah, the only reason I wasn't sure is because there's an anxiety study I'm going to bring up soon. But in a study involving 1,600 participants, 45% found meaningful improvements in their pain. And what this was is each person got 40 milligrams of CBD. Now, what they were really studying was how, say, adding CBG works with that, how adding CBN works with that, how adding CBC. What they found was CBC, adding just 20 milligrams of CBD to that 40 milligrams of CBD significantly improved as well as far as their pain. What I thought was interesting is they also mentioned, and we talk about this a lot, that the best results came when taken for 2 weeks or more. And that's something that I think we're finding, with the best results for CBD as well. Is I think that if it's something that you're fighting on a daily basis, using on a daily basis is more beneficial than just using here or there. Now, I use it here or there, and it does work that way as well. I can tell you. I think with pain, I think using it on a regular basis does work better. That's what we've heard from our customers even. Now, when it comes to anxiety, there's that. I think that's a whole. I think you can just use it anytime you feel anxiety, one way or another. And so, once again, this study is proving that CBD can be it should be something that people try for pain relief. Now, it's only 50% of the people, but I tell you what, if 1 out of every 2 people found relief, and again, if 1 out of every 2 people could say get off opiates and found relief with CBD, well, those 1 out of 2 people will have a much better life in the long run. I guarantee it. So, yeah. Now, in a much smaller study, but it did find that 80% of the patients found a decrease in anxiety symptoms as well as improved sleep. Now, I don't know the dosage. They didn't have an actual dosage that they were giving these people. And then there was another study that on the same lines looking at anxiety, and it showed that 53% of the people in the study felt better overall with no adverse side effects. Once again, I don't know the levels of CBD. That's the thing with CBD. I think that, there's no doubt in my mind that what 20 milligrams of CBD does to one person is different than what 20 milligrams of CBD may do to another person. Some people need more, some people may need less. We usually base it on weight right now. But I don't know if necessarily basing it on weight is the real appropriate way to base how much you do. We always recommend to our customers to start on a lower dose. If you don't get the results you need, then increase that dose. And if you get to a point where you've increased it so much you don't get the results, then it's not going to work for you. Not everything does. Nothing is 100%. That's for sure. Starting low and going high makes more sense. No doubt about it. 40 milligrams of CBD is a decent dose. That's usually what I would take before bed when I was having problems sleeping, and I definitely noticed the difference. Now we use Delta 8 for better sleep, and it really works too. I can tell you personally. It works so well sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. And again, dosage and the proper cannabinoids, just like the previous study was saying, CBD with this does what, and again, that's why the CBD should have everything, and we're going to start seeing that. It's going to be this amount of CBD, and there'll be this amount of CBN if it's probably something related to more sleep or whatnot. This amount of CBG or CBC maybe for daily pain use. Again, all these things are getting worked out slowly but surely as more people use it and more studies are being done. And again, we can now legally do studies on CBD because CBD is legal in the United States. And so that's why we're seeing a lot more studies pop up, whether big or one way or another. Ultra Runner, Rich Roll. What a name. Rich Roll. He, he released his Ultra Energy Bar recipe, which includes a quarter cup of hemp seeds. Which of course it does. Again, I mean, if you're looking for energy, if you're any type of athlete, there is no way that hemp seed cannot benefit your diet, your workouts, the protein, all of that. And so, I think more humans should use hemp seed obviously as a daily food product because it's super healthy for us. What I have seen with athletes, to be honest with you, like one of the fighters that was her breakfast and hemp seed, like hemp seed to get you started or pre-workout. Honestly, hemp seed pre-workout, um, and then CBD post-workout is how it's basically going down in the world. And those are what I have seen from actual athletes across the United States. Is they're adding hemp seed to their diet and they're adding CBD to their post workout recovery. We need more industrial hemp in the world. So, just proving that we should be eating it. And again, and that it does help with, if it's help with recovery in athletes, and that's pain caused by inflammation 90% of the time, probably in an athlete. That's why it helps our customers. That's why they keep coming back for it. All right. Last story. How about some Tusk? I don't know why it's called Tusk. This is actually a 100-year-old rum company, and just recently have come up with a hemp seed flavored rum. Don't know what that really means. Rum, is usually sweet, and usually made from sugar cane, I believe. Um, Not positive on that. Anybody out there knows where most rum comes from. And again, they're just saying it's hemp seed flavored. So I don't know if what part of the making or the seed, not infused, but it's flavored, which could also mean infused, which I don't really know what that means. But we'll keep our eyes out at the liquor store. I'm gonna have to start checking some labels more and more when I go to the liquor store just to see, who's using any hemp infused stuff on the shelves or not. But we have seen all kinds of non-alcoholic to alcoholic um, liqueurs, I guess, hard and soft liqueurs using hemp seed. A lot of them it's infused, which means they add it after they've made it. It's not part of making it, which you can do with beer. Um, but it is um, added to. If it's infused, it's added to. Um, yes, Paul Jacob, you are 100% correct. I mean, that's why, a lot of pharmaceuticals that you take, you can't stop taking because it takes a while for them to get running through your system and working everything correctly or the best that they can, one way or another. And so, it is true. There's, a lot of pharmaceuticals that you can't get off quickly because they take a while to really get into your system, and then obviously they may take a while to, or I don't know. But you're 100% correct there. And again, we have seen this with our customers and out there in the CBD world for sure. Is that yes, you can get relief, instantly, and used sporadically. But when added on a regular basis, I think you get more benefits out of it. It's true. It's true. All right. Let's see. We got a couple events here. We'll get everybody on their way. August 18th through the 20th, you have the Southern Hemp Expo. August 27th through the 28th, the 8th annual Blessing of the Hemp. September 24th, Hemp in the Holler, Mount Vernon, Kentucky. And then September 24th, you also have Hemp, Hops, and Shrooms outdoor event in Carbondale, Illinois. All right. I talked about it earlier. You've watched the entire show. Now, let's check out this video by the luminaries called Hemp Can Save the World.
Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can heal the world. Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can save the world.
George Washington grew hemp. Even the Declaration of Independence was made on hemp paper. Thomas Jefferson had hemp fields. Let me tell you about the things organically grown hemp yields. Jack Herrick tried to tell us the news. We can even use the seeds to improve our food. Build homes in the future made straight from hemp. No heat bill cost, so we save on rent.
Free will in the mix, hemp shirt, hemp kicks. Keep my gear earth conscious, let's go down the list. Its fibers are the strongest, products last the longest. Change your whole infrastructure, hemp will never wrong us. Obviously, it's the plant that can raise our whole economy if we open our minds to see. Build your house insulated organically. That's real talk, homie, that's no fantasy.
Plant the seed, we got a world to feed. Grow hemp everywhere, all the food you could ever need. Oil, fiber, medicine, and paper. Banning cannabis was the world's biggest keeper. Strong, durable, long-lasting, natural, renewable, botanical, growing every annual. Hemp can take the planet, all you gotta do is plant it. Wanna see it growing up from the cracks in the granite.
Feed the children. Imagine a world. No pollution. Imagine a world. Green solution. Imagine a world. Hemp can heal the world. Imagine a world. No more hunger. Imagine a world. Love each other. Imagine a world. We grow stronger. Imagine a world. Hemp can save the world.
Let's take it back to 10G BC. World's oldest relic, hemp cloth from the Chinese. Over 50,000 uses, you see, like the fuel steel that made Henry Ford's Model T. Greeks, Phoenicians, high priests and priestesses from Asia to America. Hemp sailed the high seas. $1 billion cash crop, can't stop, won't stop. Flip the greenhouse effect, the atmosphere is hot. I had shirt, pants all made from hemp. Even the shoes on my feet saying eco fresh. Raw food be the movement, I eat the seeds. Great source of protein and omega-3s. It's the most nutritious, plus so delicious. Put it in my body mixer in my green smoothie. We was given every seed, bearing plant on earth. Genesis 1:2:9, shake the verse.
Grow a true field of dreams, tall and green. This one crop can be used for everything. Hemp milk, have a sip, taste buds, feel the bliss. Get a hemp notepad, take notes on this. Regenerate the earth and create new work. Build your karma points and your network. Freely I support him, listen for the growth. Keep it cool like Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap.
Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can heal the world. Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can save the world.
There you go.
I get goosebumps. That's such a good. I mean, they did a great job, honestly. Unbelievably great job.
Absolutely.
I'm going to always remember that. It's the luminaries. Hemp can heal the world, I think, is actually. Hemp can heal the world. Found on YouTube. Let's make it a hit. It's been out for quite a while, and I can't believe I didn't know about it. There it is. It's like it's going to become the anthem. I'm going to see if I can maybe get permission to use it as the song in our show. I'm going to have to get with them. No, I love it. And of course, this is a nonprofit show So we are not trying to use that video to gain any money. Just so you know, not illegally used during the show, because we do not take in any money. Just so you know. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week on the High Noon Hemp Show. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.